It's good to get high, never come down. It's good to be king of your own little town.
I am reminded that for most of us, and this is a nice gathering, most of us probably only knew Frank a little less than 3 years. Can you imagine that? And I think it's a testimony to the fact that he was so impactful on so many lives in such a positive fashion. So that's something to ponder. I mean, I think I've mentioned in the little piece that I've written in the paper that it was as though he knew that his time here was short, and maybe he was on a little bit of a mission.
I just wanted to recall with you how I met Frank. I have a business over here at Crespi Center, and about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, this elderly gentleman in a wheelchair would come by and look at my books. And so I'd chat with him and think, oh, he's such a nice man. And then he gave me a few ideas about things I could do with the Historical Society. Oh, that's so nice. I didn't know who I was talking to. Then Frank wanted all of my American Heritage magazines. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, Frank, I'll give you all the American Heritage magazines, but you have to give me an idea a day. So that's what started, and so I got the best of the deal. He got the American Heritage magazines, but we got a lot of really good ideas. Thank you all for coming.
He gave her more than one idea a day. I think she came to rue the day that he gave me a lot of ideas too. He had many. I joke a lot because sometimes I'd be in my office and I'd see him coming up in the wheelchair, and my first thought was, oh no, I don't have an hour and a half right now.
When I crossed paths with Frank Winston, I had no idea that I was meeting Haley's Comet. And the very first morning that we met at the Pacific Democrats, I decided to come back, walk in the door, and have breakfast on a Saturday morning at the Sharp Park Golf Course. And there was Frank Winston, and a mutual friend of ours said, I would like you to meet this person. I think you could help him. Little did I know how much he would help me. And talk about an idea. Kathleen, was that your request, that you were asking Frank for an idea? I'll talk to you later. Because Frank had so many ideas that morning he gave me his notebook, a pen, and I have never stopped utilizing a pen and a notebook in the presence of the emperor. His ideas came fast, they came furious, they were creative, they were wondrous. And I will miss the early morning phone calls. I think he got up very early because he would call me at 7 a.m. Saying that he had waited to call me. So who knows what time he woke up. But those are little things I'm still filtering through my own personal memories. Yesterday I drove down Roberts Road, which is right across the street here, and I pulled into where Frank lives, and I realized Frank's not there. And I have a lot of problems grappling with that because we were in so many places in this town and out of town. Because Frank brought me in with a vengeance to the Pacifica Democrats, and he also brought me in with a vengeance to the Pacifica Historical Society. And I met some wonderful people, and I still enjoy their company so much. And I have so much to thank Frank Winston for.
I could talk on and on about what a wonderful job he did at Pacifica Democrats. While I was president, he was vice president. He was responsible for bringing our speakers in. He did an incredible job of that, and he always made me look good, and I just appreciated that so much. But I'll just tell one quick little anecdote about Frank. My term ended in June, and he was president right after me. And this sort of says something about how intuitive and charming both he was. He knew that when my term ended that I might tend to sort of lapse a little. I'd been involved for several years. I think he suspected that after being president I would sort of discontinue my activities a little bit. So in order to solve this problem, one of his first proclamations as president, he made me chairman of the board of the Pacific Academic which is a completely meaningless title. It had never been held by anyone before. But he knew my ego. And of course it went straight to my head, and as a result of that, I have indeed continued involvement with Pacific Democrats because of that proclamation. And now that he's gone on, I think that it was just a very tongue-in-cheek, humorous sort of title, maybe the same way his title of emperor was, but it ended up having a lot of meaning in a very special way to me, and now that he's gone, it means more to me than ever. So we'll all miss him. I miss him very much.
My name is Bertha Sanchez, and I'm here with a couple of people from Project Concern. You don't know who Project Concern is, but Frank had been affiliated with us back in the late 1960s and early 1970s. And recently he joined us again last fall in the Project Concern San Francisco Bay Area Committee, where he, with his enthusiasm, brought many, many ideas to our fundraising event that we were going to hold. And he helped us way back again some 45 years ago with an outfit, an international health organization that he became closely involved with. And he was served as our chairman at one point back in the 70s, and he certainly put all his enthusiasm in it, just as he had adopted Pacifica in his recent travels here.
The very first time, many of you know, I've lined up the parade and staged the parade for a lot of years, and I thought I knew every organization and every person, and most of you in this room. And the next thing I know, this man calls me up and he says, I want to be in the parade, I'm going to be with the Historical Society, and I'm the Emperor of Pacifica. Did we have an emperor? I didn't know I missed that memo. I couldn't believe it. And then he says, well, we need to get together and talk. Now you know Frank. You can't say no, so we got to get together and talk. So consequently, I met him, and he comes rolling down the street to me as I was meeting him, full regalia, the crown, the whole 9 yards, and I said, you know, I didn't believe you until I just now saw you. That's absolutely correct. Frank was larger than life. He was an amazing person, and he always said that there are basically 3, or at least he said this to me, there are basically 3 kinds of people. I probably shouldn't share this, but there are the doers, there are the watchers, and there's the what the heck happened. And he says, you're a doer. I said, Frank, only you would know. Frank is the most amazing doer I have ever seen. To be in town this short amount of time and to impact so many things, it is absolutely incredible. Everybody in this room that was touched by Frank is truly blessed, and I feel absolutely blessed to have known him.
But Frank, he was just so amazing, and like many others, I didn't realize he'd only been here a couple of years, because he reeled off dozens of factoids about Pacifica, which, amazing. I mean, I was just stunned, and so just to hope to be able to have the last third of my life be 1/10 as exciting as his was, and to contribute to the good feelings of people, which seemed to be his forte. He just made people feel good. He just gave me an inspiration to be enthusiastic about where you were, even at some Chamber of Commerce dinner. He was just magnetic, happy, outgoing, loving, and giving to this. I don't know if he knew everybody in the room or didn't know anybody in the room, but his magnetism was just so catching. It was just an epidemic of Frank. So I'll always remember that. I think that I've gotten to know him better by listening to everybody here tonight.
And one thing I'm very grateful to Frank for, we were part of his family, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very pleased, I should say, because you did feel he was, anytime you spoke to him, it was like, I have no idea he was blind. but it's like this was person to person talking to you right then and there. He was yours. You were his for that moment. And whatever you said went with him. He didn't forget. So I'm very grateful that he came, and at the time that he came was really wonderful because our 50th birthday, you know, we're a big city actually for this one. We're very big, and it's hard. I mean, to get a community together that's so widespread geographically with the different little communities that became one city, I wonder if we could have done it without Frank. He was full of energy and had the time to help us stay organized and get it all together. So he took all of our wonderful talents and put them into one and called it the Emperor and had all his little things out in his kingdom that we all came together and we were able to give Pacifica a really nice 50th birthday. And then incredibly, good old Frank, he managed to extend it to another year. So we have so much to be grateful to.
Asked Frank for something, or he gave us something like a big smile. He was always pro, never con, anything. We gave him purpose in life, and we gave him, in many ways, 3 years of being an emperor and a very useful person. And we should all, I think, take time to consider that. And I thank Susan for his cousin for informing me of that. Thank you.
Very well said, sir. Very good point. Susan, would you like to speak? Yeah.
I just want to add a small detail to that. And that is, you also gave him a sense of family and love, and he was totally devoted to his life here. And you gave him back so much. And I just want to thank you, all of you. And
Thank you.
There's an undercurrent in this room. Everyone who's been up here and those that haven't, that's in the back of their head, there's an undercurrent here. You meet Frank Winston, you introduce yourself. And the next thing you know, you're either hauling him, advocating him, cursing him, or in some way involved in some organization that you had knew nothing about and didn't want to get into involved with in the first place, but still you're there. Am I right?
yes,
Very well said, James. And James probably doesn't get the credit, but I think James was probably Frank's closest friend here in Pacifica. So thank you, James.
Well, the first time I met Frank actually was when I did the first Laugh Locally show over here at Channel 26. I guess he scooted on down from his place there. And he ended up being, I think, at almost every show we ever taped, which is, I don't think he said about anybody else. But I didn't realize he was taking notes. A little later, he had his own show. So, the wheels were spinning in more ways than one. But he, like people were talking about his ideas, and I got a lot of them as well. And some of them they were all brilliant, but half of them were completely impractical. If all of his ideas were implemented, it would take the entire workforce of the planet Earth. And we wouldn't do anything but just, team up and try to get all of his ideas done. As far as this video we're going to show in a little bit, there's 3 people, other people were involved in that, Bob Twigg and Steve Brown, who worked on Footprints of Pacifica with, and they gave me some great footage. And Kat Markham, she did that thing, Elders on the Edge, which is great, because, Frank definitely was on the edge, but he's over it now, so to speak.
I believe that Frank was ageless, and the show that I produced that he started, along with a few others here, is entitled Elders on the Edge. And this will kind of brighten anyone's spirit, so I'm honored to be here. And Frank was just unbelievable spirit, and just shows that at any age you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, and however you want. So whatever you see here, remember it was done with love and honor and respect. Thank you.
Hi there, Frank Winston here for the Pacifica Historical Society.
Hi there, Frank Winston here for the Pacifica Historical Society. I'm the host of the weekly show, Footprints of Pacifica, where we discover and explore the lure and the lore of lovely Pacifica, its character and its characters, and what it is that brings the people here and what they find from studying our history. And now, the tape.
I'm talking to one of my loyal subjects here. This is Gail. He worked with us as a volunteer, part of Pacifica's 50th anniversary celebration. I'm the emperor, but that's okay. You'll hear from me next year when your organization does something for the 50th anniversary, the founding of Pacifica.
Hi, I'm here with Frank Winston from the Pacifica Historical Society. Now, you've been in Pacifica many years, and you know much about the history of town, right?
I'm fully acquainted with it all. Ask me any question or ask any comment, and I have one for you.
Great. Well, what I want to know right now about is the history of movies in Pacifica, movies that have been made in or about Pacifica. Would you know about that topic?
You're talking about the Seaview Theater. I used to go there all the time.
Well, no, movies that are made, not shown in Pacifica, but made about Pacifica.
Well, that's not possible, Ian, because of the fog. The requirements are such that you could not film in Pacifica. So what are you talking about?
Well, there have been some movies that they've filmed on clear days. For instance, do you know anything about the movie Portrait in Black, made in 1940?
Portrait in 1940?
Yeah.
My son, 1957 was the founding of the city of Pacifica. Therefore, Portrait in Black couldn't possibly be made in Pacifica. Next.
Well, it was made in what is now Pacifica. But did you see the movie?
No, I didn't see the movie. I wouldn't go to see one of those things. Who was in it?
Lana Turner, Anthony Quinn.
Man, you're kidding. It's like these young kids today. Yeah, Madonna and Britney. Where do they get these names? Anthony, Lana. Those are ridiculous names. Why don't they have a name like Ian or Frank?
You got a point there.
Hey, buddy, where's your helmet at?
Can't you see? I've got one right here. It says 49. Can you see it?
That's not going to work. You're going to have to put a helmet on.
No, this is a helmet. There's a new technology. This is a soft helmet. It's going to guard me. It's going to protect me. Now just get out of my way and I can go in.
No, sir, you can't come in. You got to have a hard helmet.
Where's your authority? I don't see anything that's... What's this say? TI-5?
Yeah.
Is that, so you're number TI-5?
Yes.
That's not a badge. Where's your stinking badge?
I don't have one on me, but you can't come in today.
Oh, that's easy for you to say. Don't leave home without it. You've got to have your placard. Who gave me, James? Are you going to waste my time on this? I can't be bothered. I'm throwing this out and catch it.
How about some other movies? How about The House of Sand and Fog? Have you seen that?
Of course not. First of all, it hasn't been made, but if I had seen it, you can't mix sand and fog. Where you can put them in a bottle or something? Are we going to sell it? Are you trying to be an entrepreneur?
All right. Well, have you seen the movie Harold and Maude?
Was that Thelma and Maude?
No, Harold and Maude, they had a big scene made at Maury's Point.
Well, how could they have done a scene in Maury's Point? But if Harold and Maude were both in it, what were they doing at the time? What do you believe?
So, have you seen the movie?
Oh, no, not at all. I wouldn't see one.
Have you seen any movies that had Pacifica in them at all?
No, as a matter of fact, there was one called South Pacifica. That's the only one I can remember.
That's actually a very different movie. What about The Right Stuff?
What about it?
Have you seen The Right Stuff?
Well, as a matter of fact, no, but
I know I heard about it, and that was trying to suggest that the men in space, the astronauts, took a picture of Pacifica. Not possible. There's 65,000 miles in the air. They couldn't possibly pinpoint Maury Point, as you suggest they did. They couldn't have known it was Pacifica.
I don't think it was a shot from space.
It wasn't? Why would they have gone up to space in the movie? Wasn't that with starring Chuck Yeager?
Yeah, that was it, the Chuck Yeager movie, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That was about Chuck Yeager and flying ahead of the speed of sound. That was terrific. But they couldn't make a movie of it because the movie camera couldn't go as fast as the speed of sound.
Okay, well, I want to thank you, Frank, for shedding so much light on the subject of movies made in Pacifica. I know a lot more about them now.
I try to help every way I can.
All right, thanks, folks. This is Frank Winston, the Emperor of Pacifica.
Could you give me my normal salute, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Merci. I'm Frank Winston from the Historical Society. We have a couple of introductions and presentations, and then we'll be hearing from Pete McCloskey, whose grandfather, of course, built this establishment. Good morning. Welcome to our home. I'm Henry Harrison McCloskey. I was the original owner and, of course, the builder of the castle. It was back in 1908. I was the attorney for the Ocean Shore Railroad, which was a project here on the coast side, which later came Pacifica.
Well, let me first thank whoever put on this party and whoever dreamed up the food and the drink and the champagne.
We moved here in 1908, but I died in 1914 while arguing a case in court in San Francisco. This week's show focuses on one individual who has been close to Footprints of Pacifica and close to Pacifica. A special show featuring Bob Milne, celebrated ragtime pianist who came to Pacifica a few weeks ago to do a concert for Pacifica. It features his own style of ragtime and a tribute to 9/11 and Americana and New York. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, that was the best one so far.
No, the best was the one that was wrapped up with a hand in between, but we won't talk about that. And so he came back south looking for Monterey Bay, and he came to San Pedro Valley, where his people stopped and explored and went up to the top of what we now call Sweeney Ridge and found not only the Ohlone Indians, but also the Bay of San Francisco. I didn't hear the one.
Well, one's silent usually in
Oh.
professionals.
Oh. She started a tour in Los Angeles, walked the distance of the United States of America, 10 miles at a day. And when she got to Washington, D.C., there was a rally, and lo and behold, that bill finally passed.
I would like for us to take a moment to reflect on an extraordinary life.
But there are benefits to work on certain projects of the society. I, for one, have chosen to work on several of them, but one very popular one is the restoration of the Little Brown Church. How am I going to know when I'm on?
Well, I pointed.
I can't see it.
Sure.
The lights went off. What happened to the red light?
I blew everything off.
Oh, there we are.
I knew I should have stayed home.
Okay. I think your friend Steve Brown is trying to get your hair back on. That's okay.
Okay.
He's just doing it. I'm not sure he's really there.
He wants you. He's taking a picture of you.
But gee, and I don't even have my sweater on. He's got to tell me to pull down my shirt. I see my time is about up, and so this one will close. But remember, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and, departing, leave behind us footprints in the sands of time.
See what you lost when you left this world. This sweet old world. What you lost when you left this world. This sweet old world. The breath from your old lips, the touch of fingertips, a sweet and tender kiss, the sound of a midnight train wearing someone's ring, someone calling your name. Somebody's home, cradle in your arms. Didn't you think you were worth anything? See what you lost when you left this world. This sweet old world. What you lost when you left this world. This sweet old